Watch my dad turn repurposed wood from what I like to call his wood forest into this gorgeous handmade centerpiece. The wood we picked out is white oak. It's salvaged from a shipping pallet for an HVAC equipment. We used 3 pieces for the base, cut them down to size, and glued them together. Now, before anyone comes for my dad in the comments, he's a professional, okay? He actually knows what he's doing with all these giant, scary tools. Don't worry about the dried glue and rough spots. We'll come back for those tomorrow. After letting it sit overnight, it's finally time to get to work, and this is where I come in. You'll notice there's a lot of sanding throughout this project because apparently that's about all I can be trusted with, but mark my words, I'm going to be the best sander this shop has ever seen. Once Dad approved of my sanding abilities, we ran the piece through a planer. I'd never seen one of these before, but it basically took out all the imperfections and made everything perfectly even. A few passes later, and we had a smooth, blemish-free board. Then we trimmed it down to its final length, about 21.5 inches. Next up, the base. We're making a rectangular frame out of smaller pieces of that same white oak that'll sit underneath and lift the centerpiece slightly off the table. Just trust the process. After making our angles, we headed over to this saw. No clue what it's called, but it looked important. Then more sanding. Wait, Dad didn't even let me sand these pieces? Dad, that's literally my role here. Also, shout out to whatever this dust collecting machine is called because I'd like to continue breathing. To assemble the base, we're using wood glue and a nail gun. Yep, I think it goes this way. Yep, definitely goes this way. The glue keeps everything from shifting, and the nails hold it in place while the glue dries. It's good for long term. Here's Dad measuring everything out with extreme precision. Honestly, I'm convinced this man is secretly a mathematician. The pieces went together perfectly. Of course they did. Meanwhile, I was promoted from professional sander to assistant glue wiper. I'm just using a slightly damp rag to clean up the excess here without soaking the wood. And now, the wobble test. No wobble. We love to see it. Then Dad sanded some more. You'd think he'd at least let me handle the bottom where nobody's looking. At this point, we realized we didn't have enough white oak to finish the sides, so it was back to the wood forest. Luckily, the wood forest provided. Dad figured out the height he wanted for the sides, and we planed these smaller pieces before cutting them down. Oh, quick water break. It's exhausting watching someone else work this hard. After adjusting the table saw, we got our side pieces ready and marked the angles. I'm sure there's an official woodworking term for this, but I don't know it, so we're just going to go with making it fit. Back to the angle saw, and look who's back. More sanding. It's me. Although I don't think Dad was thrilled with my technique here. Let's just say I received some constructive feedback. The side pieces were glued and nailed into place, and honestly, these seemed like the trickiest part of the whole project. But moment of truth, yep, perfect fit. Again, mathematician. After cleaning up the glue, everything got one final sanding. Then I looked up and I found Dad pacing around on the phone in a mild panic. He couldn't find the wood finish. Reinforcements were called, a search party was formed. Thankfully, the finish was located because I was not emotionally prepared for an emergency Home Depot run. This is the oil we used, a natural finish that brings out the wood grain. Before applying it, we blew away all the remaining dust, and while we're at it, we cleaned off Dad too. Dad showed me the proper technique, pour a little on and wipe it evenly across the surface. Simple enough. Well, he then generously allowed me to do the bottom. You know, the part nobody will see. We applied 2 coats, and this is what it looked like afterward. She's gorgeous. I let it sit for a few hours before taking it home and putting it on display. And just like that, a pile of reclaimed wood from the wood forest became the most beautiful centerpiece. Thanks, Dad.